Tuesday to you. Come
Welcome,
on
welcome, welcome,
in.
welcome to each and every one of you.
Join the Legacy Lesson Live, the LLL, triple L,
That's right.
L cubed.
That's right. Let's get this started. What's up? I'm O.L. Buckley.
And I am Sway Buckley.
That's right,
Hey,
Marriedpreneur
fam.
Strategist. And in case this is your first time with us, we are hosts of the Married Life podcast, where we help mission-minded married entrepreneurs, those who want to get more clarity, generate more income, but above all of that, they really want to leave a lasting impact.
Yes, yes, yes. And married entrepreneurs come to us to sync high-level systems with laser-clear strategy to build out a profitable legacy together that is also peaceable. Amen for that. So today we are here and we're going to be sharing our legacy lesson of the week. And it is March 1st. So happy March 1st to everybody. Woo!
Welcome,
March
welcome.
1st. It's a big first day for us too. Or I guess, yeah, big one, day one. We're doing the hard, was it 75 hard, the hard 75 challenge? One of those.
I don't even know
We're doing this challenge together for the next 75 days. And so y'all pray for us. So what that means is every day for the next 75 days, we are doing 2 45-minute workouts. One of those is outside. Every day for the next 75 days, we are doing, not necessarily together. We do one of the walk together, but the other workout we're doing separately. We have our own, we probably have a pretty healthy diet, but no like what is it, cheat meals or alcohol for the next 75 days. And then also with that, reading 10 pages a day of a book that is helpful to us. What else are we doing with that? Oh, gallon of water.
Yeah, gallon of water a day.
Getting it in. I'm almost there, a little bit under halfway mark. So I had to keep it in front of me because I'm probably not going to drink as much if I don't. So we're doing that, and then a progress pick each day. But it's going well. It's going well this far. And ultimately, what we're going to do, for those of you who are connected with us on IG here in our stories, we'll share a little bit each day as accountability and as a countdown to day 1 and to day 0. So right now, we're on day 75.
We're on day 75. Also, it being March, what's up? Happy Women's History Month.
Woo, 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 woo. Thank you.
Yep.
Look at him. Okay, so let's get into this because we're about to go. As soon as we finish with this, we're going to go on our walk, our second workout for the day. So we had our separate ones earlier, and then we're going to go do one together for 45 minutes. So this has been good. We've been practicing for the few days leading up to this, and it's been really helpful. So with that being said, this is the first of the month. What we like to do at the beginning of each month as marriedpreneurs, and just a quick side note, marriedpreneurs, we've realized there are like 3 main categories. There's indiepreneurs, spousalpreneurs, and couplepreneurs. And those indiepreneurs are the marriedpreneur types where each spouse is building an individual business, different individual business. And then we have the spousalpreneurs where one spouse is building the business and the other spouse supports.
Sports or working 9 to 5, however they make that work. And then there is the couplepreneurs. That's where both of you are working in the same business together.
Yes, or you can be a combination of those. Okay, so
absolutely,
regardless of what you are, your marriedpreneur type, indie spousal, or couplepreneur, it is critical. I mean, critical to have a monthly legacy meeting. We call the Marriedpreneur monthly meeting a legacy meeting. They're one and the same. And so if you haven't ever done those, we want to give you some insight. But first, we want to tell you how it's been beneficial to us as we are both indie and not spousal. We used to be spousalpreneurs, indie and couplepreneurs. And through that, we have multiple businesses as well as running ministry, like all these different things and hats that have to happen. And what do you say? Things to stay in the air?
Plate spinning.
All of the things, right? And one of the ways, and I would say that it's been super helpful for us to do this because this is what we have been doing for the last, 10 plus years on a full-time basis. So we have to have systems in place. And one of the systems that really, truly helps us is having a monthly legacy meeting. And what that does is it helps us to stay on the same page. It helps us to be clear with our goals. It helps us to keep and prioritize our marriage as number one and build the business around our marriage that's, to support our marriage. It helps us to increase our output and results in less amount of time. It helps us to support each other better. Like there's so many benefits. It helps us with increase in productivity and profitability in our business. Like it is really a no-brainer for us. And so with this being March 1st, we wanted to just share not only like why it's so important, but also help other married entrepreneurs implement it as well if you haven't done that. And maybe you do, but maybe you call it something different. Or maybe you don't, but you can start, right? So especially as legacy builders.
Yep. So the monthly Marriedpreneur Legacy Meeting, we're going to break this down, explain this to you guys, how this works, how we use it on a monthly basis to work for us, and what are those elements.
Yeah. You want to start? What we start with?
Go ahead. I'll let you start.
You want me to start? So we start with prayer first.
Yes.
Okay. That keeps us, levels the playing field. Okay. Starting with prayer. Doesn't have to be super long or super deep. It's just really getting together on the same page, making sure like, Lord, we want you to guide this. We don't want to put our desires, that they may not be your desires. We want to submit them to your ultimate will for our marriage and for our lives, for our business, and anything that you would have us do. Okay. So we're clear there. And then we have a very specific and strategic order, which is we always discuss the marriage first. So we go over our wins across the whole board.
Yeah. So we'll start off with our wins in marriage, and we'll take a review of that. And it could be 3, 5, it could be 1, doesn't matter. But we'll take a list of wins over the last
30 days.
30 days.
It's a monthly.
And we'll look at those and we'll call those out. And it's interesting because sometimes you can forget that you had a win in the marriage. And that could be something, let me say this, that could be something as simple as we had we prioritized date night, and we did not give way to technology or social media. We protected it, we guarded it, and we executed it, meaning it went off, and it went off. I'm trying to say went off without a hitch, but it went off well without it being, backburned or sidestepped or anything like that. So we list those wins in the marriage. It could be something that we overcame in the marriage. Maybe there was a previous challenge in the marriage the month prior, and we overcame that. Maybe we got clarity on a disagreement, got on the same page about something that we may not have agreed about prior to. So we list those wins in the marriage. It could be, oh, we did our vacation this month, or oh, we did our outing this month, or whatever we did to invest in our marriage. It went from an idea to a plan to done.
And that often is derived from our MEP, which is the marriage enrichment plan that we have for the year. So it's like, well, what are our goals for the marriage? We go over this on the Marriedpreneur Life podcast. You can take a listen to that, but we go over the whole annual legacy plan. And in that, it has the MEP. And so when it's time to do our monthlies, when it's time to do our weekly, our quarterly, even daily, everything is very strategic. So we're not just saying, oh, by the way, did this happen? We actually have a strategic plan for the year, so we can protect our marriage, so we can grow in our marriage. And so we are really serious about it, and not just putting it on the back burner. So that makes a big difference when we go over those wins in our marriage as well. And then we do our personal wins.
Then we do our personal wins, and this could be you as an individual. It could be something regarding nutrition, physical fitness, personal development, spiritual growth,
soul care,
connecting with friends or family that you haven't spoken to in a while. It involves those things that you as an individual did. And so what we do is we'll talk about those, highlight those, make mention of those, right, to show that we have had some personal wins as well.
Yeah. And then we get to the business. We get to the business of the business. Then we say, okay, what are some business wins? So you notice just we're very strategic in that, because it helps us to focus more on than just the business, but truly the full legacy of what we're building as married entrepreneurs. So then we focus on the business. Okay, what are some business wins? Each of us will do it, separately. We'll celebrate that. That's right. That's right. That did happen. That's right. That did happen. Okay. So we're able to remember those things, and it really helps you to start this whole monthly legacy meeting off on a very good step, and I would say upbeat, with a good and great focus, and then on the same page, right? So it just really makes everything better. Whatever else is gonna come after that, what they say, a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. So whatever rough spots that you need to talk about that are coming up, you've already had it started off with something really, really sweet. Lots of layers of sweetness, of wins, that is. Okay, and then based on what you all do and your lifestyle, for us, ministry is a big part of our lifestyles as well. So we're going to talk about ministry wins too. So we talk about everything all across the board as far as the wins are concerned on this phase of the monthly, okay, your monthly legacy meeting. Now, after we talk about these wins, then we go into the next aspect of like, okay, let's review from the last month, what were our goals in these areas. So that means we would have had
goals from the prior month that we
Yes.
now take in this meeting, and we
Yes.
evaluate those goals.
Yes. So then this is when that whole review piece comes up. Okay, remember, first and foremost, we're talking about marriage first. We're not going to jump to the business. Okay, what were our marriage goals? Now, we talked about wins from our MEP, but did we do everything that we said we wanted to do from our MEP? And it's okay if not. We can just either say, yep, we did everything awesome, or you know what, we didn't get a chance to do, like, one of the things we want to do was like a cooking class together. Oh, we didn't get a chance to do that. So what happened? Or let's just move the date. Let's look at a different time. It was just too many other things going on. Let's look at moving that to a different time, a different day, a different season, a different quarter, what have you. And then we'll look at, okay, so what are the things in our MEP for this month? So we are staying focused on what we want, our overall goal for the year. We have a couple of different marriage initiatives, and we want to make sure that we stay in line with them. So then we do that, right? And then we make sure, like, who's going to do what, who's going to be the planner, because it's easy to be like, we're going to do this, and then nobody makes the plan. Or
That's
we're
right.
like, I thought you said we were going to do.
Date has come and gone.
Or the date wasn't even determined, like that part. So all of that is really important to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'll be the principal. I'll go ahead and find who. And usually it's a very natural thing. Somebody's usually going to be the one to say, you know what, let me go look online and find this. I'm just going to do this part. And then you can say that to your spouse so they know that you're going to do it, or you can do it together too. That works always. Now, so after you do the MEP and you've reviewed that and you said, okay, this is what we're going to be doing now for the next 30 days for our marriage enrichment plan, then you go over to the business aspect. When it comes to the business reviewing, we like to use a very simple system by Alex Sharfin. He's done some great work with the 5 core functions, just to kind of get us going and understanding where we need to be focusing on in our business.
Yeah, and so we'll take a look at these 5 areas in our business.
And they're really systems.
Yes, they are systems. And so we'll take a look at these areas of our business using this systematic approach, and we'll evaluate. So we're going to be looking at, what was our lead generation process like? Does it needs to be improved? How is it performing? And then we go to our lead nurture, and then we go from lead nurture to our conversion, and then we go from our conversion to our delivery, and then we go from our delivery to our retention and resell and upsell. And so we'll go down this whole list and look at it systematically and identify where something needs to be tweaked, adjusted, lifted, raised, where something needs to be adjusted. And by doing this on a month-to-month basis, it keeps us from assuming that we're doing better than we are, and it makes us aware as to what we can improve on. Yeah,
it just helps us to focus on the right thing, because there's always so much to focus on, but we can't focus on everything. So there's that. So we go over that piece in the business, and then we look at, well, now we know what we're going to be focusing on, what went well, what didn't go so well with that part, and then what we're going to be focusing on now concerning the business, and which one of those systems, and what specifically is that for us? What is it? Like, what does that look like? What do we need to do to actually execute in this particular system? Because we're going to be focusing very keenly in that area as we're starting out and building and growing. So once we get the understanding of that and what that looks like tactically and practically, then we're able to move to the next area of, as far as like, well, what went well, what didn't go so well this past month concerning the business. And then also talking about supporting one another, because your conversation is going to look different for so many reasons. It's going to be based on, your marriedpreneur type. Are you spousal, indie, or couplepreneurs, and what that looks like? How involved are you together with building? Are your wealth roles clear? Like, there's so many different ways that a conversation can go.
Yeah, and having that conversation, as you even just talking about the point about the wealth roles, as you evaluate the month prior, things are going to occur to you. You're going to realize and notice things, particularly as it pertains to how your spouse may be able to support you. You may realize that, I don't like the approach that I took towards this particular area or role. And I think this would work better if I did it this way or that way. Or it may be something where you realize, this may not be best for me to do, even though it may seem like I have more time to do it. So maybe we need to look at how this role can either be delegated, how could even be systematized, or maybe even swapped out between the two of you. So it's a great opportunity to evaluate how things are going for you in your role within the context of building out the legacy, building out the business.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with like how you're feeling. Like, are you excited about it? And then if you're like not really feeling it, if you're like, I don't want to do this, I don't feel like, you need to, this is a great time to acknowledge that, so you're not feeling like you're constantly like pushing and doing things that, yes, they need to be done, but there's no true joy in it. There's no true excitement about it.
Yeah, and the other thing is sometimes it's like going to a buffet and we eat with our eyes. And what happens is we end up piling so many things on our plate.
Yes,
and then when we get into it, we realize we can't finish it because we got full. And sometimes business can be like that, especially if one of you might be of the overachieving nature. You may end up saying, oh yeah, we can do this, we can do this, we can do that. And then one of you may say, oh, I'll do these 4 things, or I'll do these 5 things, and maybe well-meaning, only to realize, 2 weeks in, I might have put a little too much on my plate. And having this monthly meeting gives you an opportunity to really look back in the rear view and assess where you could make adjustments and so forth.
Yeah, because sometimes we can take on not only too much, but do the things that need to get done, but are not really the core of what you're called to do. So you get full on all of the, what do they call, like the appetizers, right? And so when it's time for you to take on the main course, like the thing that you are born to do in the business, you're full, like you're tired, you're drained, you're exhausted, you have no more energy. It's over, it's gone. So this is a great time to reevaluate. Am I really focusing on what I'm supposed to be focusing on, like the meat of it? Because there's so many distractions, and it's easy to get full off of the things that are not the main course for you. So there's that. So then once we go through those things, we're able to really get better aligned with our annual legacy goals and that plan that we had a meeting for the year concerning all of this. So we're able to look back and to say, okay, do we need to tweak anything in the annual? Do we need to change anything around? Do we need to change some dates, change some expectations? Do we need to just put more white space there? Or do we need to pivot over here? Like, this is a great time to look at that. So then you're not feeling like, man, it's just a real big disappointment because we thought we were going to do this or have such and such accomplished by this time this year, and we're not there. Well, that's okay. Now's the time to re-examine and say, okay, this is where, based on where we are, based on what has happened in our lives that we didn't know about before, based on changing or realigning our expectations for the timeline and, what things are going to cost or what it's going to take energy wise, monetarily speaking, all these different things. Now we're able to say, okay, now that we have that, let's realign the big goal to say, okay, this is what this is going to be, right? So then you're actually able to achieve as you go in your pace and on your way, and you're still moving forward. So that's a part of it. I think that's a big part that a lot of people don't talk about, but it's necessary for mental, I think, sobriety, just understanding and the saneness. So you're not constantly fighting against some unrealistic expectation, or maybe not having the skill set to accomplish the goal. That could be another frustration too. You needing to learn a new skill to do the goal or bring someone else in to do it. There's all these different ways to win, right? But just understanding where you are, what the season is, the capacity that you all have, the focus, and all the other things going on in life, you need to know, what does that look like for you?
And the other thing about this monthly meeting is that it gives you an opportunity to think about that and voice that to your spouse.
Yes.
Sometimes we can have these thoughts, but not say anything, and 90, 120 days have gone by. We're into the next quarter, and things can mount, and then it gets, critical mass, and now it becomes a whole nother thing. So that's the beauty of having these monthly meetings.
Have space. You've created a sacred space to build your legacy intentionally, and not just like throw it up together, whatever happens type of thing. So it's very intentional. So that's going to be the outline or the framework for how we do our monthly Marriedpreneur meetings or our legacy meetings. And then we like to close out with getting clarity for our next meeting. So we're not like, oh, we missed it. A whole 2 months went by and we didn't even do a month. So that can easily happen with time just flying by. So what we like to do is, okay, at the end of this meeting, let's go ahead and plan. Like, we're now, this is March. So we're planning now for April's monthly and quarterly for quarter 2. right? So, but you're putting it together, and it's going to take
It's really going to be in the same meeting. We're
Mhm.
just looking at the month and then looking at the quarter.
Yeah, do it all together. It's very similar to what we just went through, but it's on a quarterly basis, and then you can realign the months with that too. So that's really good. And sometimes we like to just do little staycations and go away to have time to relax, think about it, pray about it, and then just strategize together.
Order some food.
Order some food.
Make it fun.
Yes, it should be fun. It should not be something like you are bored doing. Like, it should be something that you're like, yes, I love this, or I'm looking forward to building this. I'm looking forward to doing that. That's what it should feel like. And if it doesn't, I would say reevaluate and ask why.
Mhm.
Just ask the hard question. Why not? Why is this not fun to me? So you can refocus and realign it so it is enjoyable for both of you, not just one of you, right? It should be fun for both because it's your legacy together, both of you. But that being said, we are out. We're going to go on our walk now as we wrap up and do this is the first day of our Hard 75 challenge. Oh, forgot to say. So this is the system for the month. If you have not received our free Marriedpreneur Operating Systems Checklist, let us know. Just press or just put systems, the word systems, in the
comment section.
Comments, or you can DM to it if we don't see it. And we'll get it over to you. It's totally free. It's a great download. I mean, it's really good download from Marriedpreneur Operating Systems. And it also has some checklists as well for your monthly, and I think weekly is in there too. Maybe it's quarterly, but anyway, it's really good stuff. So make sure you just let us know. We'll get that over to you. Just put systems in the download and in the comments. You're good to go. Also, there's some great content over on, specifically for married entrepreneurs, faith-based married entrepreneurs, over on the Marriedpreneur Life podcast. I mean, not to brag, not acting like we're not the co-host, but it's really good. It's a podcast that we would listen to if we were not co-hosting it ourselves. Like, this is really good. So hopefully you all will find some great support there as well. But you can listen to that on the marriedpreneurlife.com website, or any of your favorite podcasting stations listening platforms. You can do that as well there. Okay, we gotta go. We're gonna go on our walk, and y'all have a good one. Until next time,
keep living
purposefully,
powerfully,
and profitably
in sync.
All right, peace out. Y'all have a good one. I got this one. You got that one? Uh-oh.